How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Cafe Unbox with me, Rory, and today we're back with another unboxing video. Now, today we're going to do a mini review and unboxing of this. This is the Oukitel K3. Now, if any of you out there are not too familiar with Oukitel, they're kind of like a small Chinese manufacturer, and what they do with smartphones is they like to pump massive batteries into their smartphones, okay? If you were kind of familiar with the K10000 or the K10000 Pro that I did do an unboxing in some of my previous videos a few months ago, have a look at that. That phone actually had a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. I know it sounds absolutely mental and it weighed a ton, but it wasn't a half bad phone, and the unboxing experience especially was pretty fantastic. Now, looking on the box on this one, the boxing experience is going to come in a little bit different, a little bit more kind of simplistic, but what this phone has again from Oukitel is a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, if you're not too sure what that means, I'll give you an example. Smartphones today, if you're lucky with heavy usage, you're going to get a full day out of it if you're lucky, okay? So you're probably going to have to charge that again before you go to bed. With these phones in particular, a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, you should be able to get 2 full days, maybe 2.5, 3 days of pretty heavy usage on a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, depending on how you use it, okay? With the K10000, I actually got 5 days out of that phone at one stage, okay? Which is incredible if you think about smartphones today. So what I'll do is I'll give you an idea of the spec. We'll do an unboxing and let you know what I think of this phone, because I have been using it for the last 4 or 5 days, okay? So, an idea of the spec on this phone. So, like I said, you have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. You got Android 7.1 straight out of the box. It has a 5.5 inch full HD IPS display. It has 4 gig of RAM and it has 64 gig of storage. Now, I picked this phone up for in around 130 euros from Banggood, and pretty similar to the Blueboo S8. I was actually pretty surprised with this phone. It's not a bad phone by any means. Now, one of the big things about this phone, they're advertising it pretty heavily, is the fact that it has a dual rear-facing camera and a dual front-facing camera. And what we all know about Chinese manufacturer phones, especially the small Chinese manufacturers, is the fact that either side, only one of those cameras is an actual camera, okay? So forget about the fact that they're a dual camera. They're not. Really, they're not. And even at this stage, with this phone in particular, through using it, I was again let down with the camera. I know it's got some pretty heavy spec on it, which is good, but in particular, the camera was pretty shit, okay? Now, apologies for the language, but it was pretty rubbish. Like the majority of Chinese manufacturer phones out there, the cameras are the major letdown. If it was a situation, if it was a case where Chinese manufacturers got their shit together and actually put decent cameras in their smartphones, I'm guessing they're going to sell a hell of a lot better than they do, okay? And what we'll do is now we'll do an unboxing, okay? So, in the box, pop that open, you're met with the phone itself, okay? Now, the phone is a 5.5 inch display, and like I said, because it's a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, it's pretty heavy, okay? So I'll put that to one side. Also, in the box, you get this little plastic insert. You have some screen protectors and a kind of plastic sleeve and stuff. Also in the box, you get another little box, and that houses the okay, so that houses the charging adapter, so you can use this as a power bank. You can charge other devices from this phone, okay? It is a micro USB, but remember with Oukitel, their micro USB is a little bit different because the actual connector itself is a lot longer, so you cannot use a standard micro USB on this this phone, okay? So leave that to one side. Also, in the other part of the box, you get your power brick, which does support fast charge, which is pretty decent, but it's for all you Europeans out there. It's not going to work for us over here in Ireland, so I'm going to have to get an adapter. And you get your USB charging cable, and again, same situation. Like I said, this will not, or a regular USB or micro USB will not work on this phone. You also get your SIM ejection tool, and you get your warranties, manuals, instructions and stuff, okay? So what we'll do is give you an idea of the phone and talk you through it, okay? So it actually, when you open it directly from the box, you're actually going to be met with this. This is actually just a little case that it comes inserted into, and it's not a bad little case by any means. It's pretty funky. It's pretty slim, and I like slim cases on phones, to be quite honest. I don't like anything too bulky. So now, talking about the hardware, it's a beautifully designed phone. It really is. I'll go ahead and power it on. Okay, so it's a beautifully designed phone. It's really symmetrical. It's got beautiful curved edges on both sides. It's got a lovely kind of what looks like a kind of solar panel design on the top and the bottom. It's got a single firing speaker on the bottom with your charging port. On one side of the phone, you have absolutely nothing, just a beautiful kind of straight line. On the other side of the phone, that houses your SIM card tray. It houses your volume up and down rocker and your power on and off button, okay? And on the top, you still have your 3.5mm headphone jack, okay? So I'll power that on. It is pretty, wrong pin, okay, let's do that again. Okay, here we go. It is actually pretty heavy, like I said, but it's absolutely to be expected with a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. If you go ahead out there, guys, and you go and order this phone, and if you are disappointed with the weight of the phone and you find it not that practical to use, just remember what everybody said. It's a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, so it's going to be heavy, okay? It's not a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, that's probably standard these days. It's 6,000, okay? So it's probably double the weight. It is pretty thick as well, but the design itself is to be forgiven because it's absolutely beautiful. You can see the way that the dual camera set up on the back. Remember, it's one camera, not dual, they're lying to you. Remember, at the back, it's pretty nice, it's pretty sleek, and on the front, you can actually see the top of it as well. Now, the screen is a 5.5 inch full HD display. It's an IPS panel, and the colors are absolutely class. It does have a fingerprint sensor on the back, but like the Oukitel K10000 Pro, I find the fingerprint sensor pretty shit, okay? It's not good. It's not that accurate, to be quite honest. I find myself having to press it multiple times, and it's not that accurate, and it's pretty slow as well. It's going to take the brightness down on that a small bit so you can see it on camera, okay? And it's not that accurate. But also what I'm going to say to you is the panel itself, otherwise the display is pretty decent, okay? What else can I talk about? Like I said, taking photos with this, the quality is pretty shit. The shutter time is way too slow, and it does take way too long to focus. And if there's any movement at all in the picture, you're going to get a blurry shot, okay? And in low light situations, absolutely forget about it. You're going to come out with an absolutely horrendous photo. In good lighting situations, you'll get away with a decent photo. Colors aren't that bad. But at the end of the day, like I said, shutter time is so slow that if there's any flinch or any movement at all in that picture or in that photo, it's going to come out blurry. It really is. So the camera, forget about it. It's not good. Do not buy this phone if you're looking for a phone with a good camera. It hasn't got a good camera. But all in all, otherwise, it's a pretty decent phone. When I took it out of the box and started playing with it, I really liked it. I love the design. I love the hardware. It feels fantastic in the hand. It's got a beautiful weight to it, like I said, because it has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. But don't be put off by the fact that it's a little bit heavy. If you're looking for a phone you want to last you through a few days without charging it, something like this should be right up your street, okay? Software experience, now what I do, like like I've said in previous videos, what I do with all my phones, I download Nova Launcher, and I find them absolutely fantastic. I love the experience with Nova Launcher. I find it fluid, I find it fast, and it's very clean experience. So you can see that, you scroll up and down through the apps because I have downloaded Nova Launcher. And software experience is pretty decent. It runs 4 gig of RAM, it's got a MediaTek processor in it. It's just a basic CPU that comes with this phone. But all in all, because you're not loading it with crap, it flies through them pretty fast. I'm not big into gaming, okay? So anybody out there that's kind of expecting kind of a gaming review on phones, I'm not big into gaming on phones. I like gaming, but specifically, I do not like them on phones. I don't like the experience. I have myself a Nintendo Switch, and if I go traveling or go anywhere, I take that specifically for gaming. So I didn't do any gaming on this phone. But like I said, with the kind of basic CPU that's in it and the processor, it's not going to be bad. Just don't expect anything great from kind of heavy graphics games, okay? Otherwise, it's not that bad. I was using it for 3 or 4 days. I haven't put it down yet, and I haven't feel the urge to change it yet. And I find it pretty nice. The buttons are tactile. It seems very well built, like the Oukitel K10000. Again, like I said, if you were to consider putting a decent camera into a phone like this, I think they'd sell pretty well, because the biggest beef or the biggest gripe for a lot of people out there is the fact that batteries don't last jack shit on phones. But you will get good timing on this. The home button as well on the bottom, that is tactile, so that does click. I actually kind of got confused when I was playing around with it for a while, because you do have to push it that little bit harder for the click, and I just thought it was just like a trackpad. Okay, it doesn't do anything apart from the fact that it's a fingerprint sensor also. You got good levels of brightness. The display, like I said, is an IPS display, is full full high definition. So it's nice. It's nice. You're going to get good colors, good clarity, and you're going to have fun with it. You won't be disappointed with this phone. This is another phone that came out of China for 130 quid. That, to be quite honest, like I said earlier, I have been surprised with. It's a decent phone. This has 64 gig of storage, and it has got expandable storage as well, okay? So you can put an SD card in this phone, and it's dual SIM. All these phones come unlocked. They don't come locked to any carrier, which is great. That's why I always buy these phones from China. And all in all, that is my review of the Oukitel K3. A pretty decent phone if it wasn't for the camera. A really decent phone if it wasn't for the camera. I take that back. Anybody out there considering spending €130 on a phone and they're worried about battery life, pick something like this up, okay? If you're not big into photography, if you're not big into taking pictures, pick something like this up. I'm pretty sure you won't be disappointed. Just, you need to get used to the weight of the phone, okay? And remember, it comes with this nice slick little case for the back, so you won't be scratching that beautiful glass back on it. And in nice lighting, that picks up some really, really different angles, some cool kind of designs, okay? Which is really, really cool. So that's it, guys. That is my review of the Oukitel K3. Really good phone. Really enjoy it. Apart from the camera, it's a really, really, really good phone. Okay, so stay tuned. If you like my channel, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Drop a comment. I try and get in touch with you guys as much as you can. When you do drop a comment, I try and interact with you as much as I can, which is great. I love your comments coming through. Any questions, don't be afraid to ask me. And next, we're going to be doing an unboxing and a mini review of the Xiaomi Mi Max 2, which I'm pretty psyched to get. It should be here in the next few days or so. Okay, so that is it. That's the Oukitel K3. Nice phone. Really surprised, and I like it. It's a good one. Thumbs up. Okay, we'll see you later, guys. That's Rory from Cafe Unbox. Bye bye.